Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be comparing the S24 Plus to the S25 Plus. So let's get into the video. This video is actually being recorded on the Nothing Phone 3. So let me know what you think about the quality. I'm using external mics connected to the Nothing Phone 3 and different phones have different quality with that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Looking at the S24 Plus versus the S25 Plus, they're mostly the same phone to be honest. The 25 Plus is just slimmer and lighter by 6 grams and it's overall just like a slight design refresh. In terms of the display, they're exactly the same specs. In terms of the cameras, they are exactly the same specs, so not much has changed. Internally, the battery size is actually the same. It's really just the outward appearance and the form factor. Like, it is slightly thinner and lighter than the S24 Plus. And then when you look at the camera rings, the 25 has these big thick plastic camera rings, or I don't know if they're plastic, but they're definitely thicker and more protruding than the 24 Pluses. It was a stylistic choice by Samsung and a lot of people didn't really like it, these floating rings, but personally I don't mind it. It's mostly like a non-impactful change, to be honest. Like, just aesthetic. I think it looks fine. And yeah, I mean, these are two of the best smartphones that you can get if you're not trying to go for something like the S25 Ultra or the iPhone 16 Pro Max. You don't want to pay an Ultra or Pro price. These are two of the best phones to get that are just below those phones. So both of them are really good and comparable, but I think the main difference between these two phones comes down to the performance. So the 24 Plus has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and then the 25 Plus has the 8 Elite, which is a super crazy chip this year and is actually a really big jump in terms of game performance and stuff like that. So what I'm actually going to do for part of this video is, you know, do an export test just to give you a quick glance. It's not going to be super scientific, but it is going to give you a quick idea of the power difference between both of them. I'm also going to check the temperature while I do that as well. Alright, so now I have the same project on both phones in LumaFusion, and as you can see, I have like 4 tracks of a bunch of 4K clips. The same clip duplicated multiple times, but it's still pushing the system very hard. It keeps wanting to create proxies, but I'm not allowing it because I want to push both phones. So you can see the playback is working, but it's definitely having some random issues pop up. Like, see, it's a little bit choppy on the 25. If I go to the same parts on the 24 is playing it back way smoother than the 25, and the 25 actually feels a little bit harder to the touch on the surface. So that should be interesting, but we're gonna actually export these projects and see which phone does it the fastest. Just a quick temperature check. So the 25 Plus is at like 38 at the highest on the front. The 24 is at around 34. I was using this a little bit longer because I created the project in this phone, so maybe that's why it's hotter right now. So the temperature here doesn't really mean too much, but it's just something interesting to see. So the back is reading 36 at the highest. Back of this is around 31. Alright, so just pay attention to the battery percentages as well. The battery percentage is 98 on the S25 Plus, 99 on 24 Plus. We shall see which one burns the most battery. So I'm actually going to get a timer. Alright, so exporting at the same settings and ready. 25 Plus started a little bit faster, but it should still give you some sort of idea. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect because this is not super scientific, just a look at it. And we got the media encoder issue on the 25 Plus. This is a 10-minute 4K video that I'm exporting with a bunch of 4K layers. So I'm actually going to close the app, not allow it to create proxies. Obviously that would make it run a little bit smoother. I'm going to start exporting it while leaving the S24 Plus just to see what the 25 can do, because it's supposed to be way faster, right? I'm marking where the S25 started, so let's see what happens. Don't mind me just recording some B-roll. So while we're exporting, I'm actually going to weigh the phones just to give you an idea of what they're at. So the S25 Plus weighs around 185 grams on my scale. The S24 Plus weighs around 195 grams on my scale. So I'm looking at a 10-gram difference between these two phones. You can definitely feel it. The 25 Plus does feel lighter and thinner. It's just better overall in terms of the ergonomics, the build. It feels better in the hand. All that stuff is just a bit more refined. But the 24 Plus is not bad at all. I think both of them are great, but obviously the newer one's going to be lighter and thinner and probably a better experience long term. It actually is kind of comparable to the S25 Edge. Like, I didn't have both those phones at the same time, unfortunately, but the S25 Edge is very thin, but this is low-key pretty good actually, and it has a bigger battery. Same big screen. It doesn't have as good of a main camera, but it has a telephoto camera. which I don't think is that much of a boost over the S25 Edge, but the battery and the size and the weight, this phone definitely competes pretty well actually. And then this is it compared to the S25 Ultra. So the Ultra is gonna be the big dog, but it has the biggest battery out of all of them, the best screen, and probably the best performance. But yeah, as you can see, the S25 Plus has caught up to the S24 Plus, even though it started way later than the 24 Plus, actually 50 seconds later. So yeah, I mean, Snapdragon 8 Elite is showing what it's capable of right here, right now. "10 minutes and 40 seconds in, the S25 Plus has finally took the lead and passed the S24 Plus, even with a 1 minute, around 1 minute slow start. The 25 Plus is about to be done. Boom. And then there we go. I messed that up. So yeah, let's look at the stats. So it took around 11 minutes and like, let's say 5 seconds for the 24 Plus to export this video, and it took the S25 Plus around 10 minutes and 10 seconds to export the same video file. So even though the S24 Plus had a head start of around 50 seconds, the S25 Plus still ended up being around 53 seconds faster than the S24 Plus when it comes to exporting that heavy 4K video file from LumaFusion. So I mean, the performance speaks for itself. It is a lot better. In terms of the heat, they were both around the same levels of heat. I didn't measure it while they were exporting, I should have, but I know for a fact that they are around similar levels of heat on the surface. The cooling just works on both of them just as effective, but the S25 Plus is just so much faster in terms of the raw power that it has, raw performance. So yeah, I mean, we all expected this, and there you go. 25 Plus is just a beast. And this will translate to gaming. Games that I play like Wild Rift, you'll get similar performance in Wild Rift. You'll be able to get 120 FPS on both of them. However, on the S25 Plus, you'll have a longer and more stable play session in terms of, you know, heat management and like less stutters and stuff like that. The S24 Plus and the S24s in general, they didn't really stutter in Wild Rift that hard. But if you play for a long time, let's say more than like one game at a time, they will start to throttle. And I've even seen instances where the phones just decided to lock it at 60 Hertz or 60 FPS in game rather than the full 120 FPS. This doesn't happen all the time. It really depends on the day and maybe the temperature of the room you're playing in and stuff like that. But yeah, I've definitely seen the S24 Plus throttle down in Wild Rift. Whereas with the S25, you don't have that issue at all. Like it games really flawlessly. The S25 series with the 8 Elite are finally phones that you can recommend for gaming in 2025, I think. Before, you couldn't really recommend Samsung phones because not that they didn't have the power, they just didn't have the sustained performance. And now the Samsung phones have that. So 25 Plus, as we expected, is just better in performance, but it's actually like, it makes a real difference, as you saw here with exporting that video. But in terms of the stability in LumaFusion, like let's go back to video editing, you're gonna have a very similar experience in video editing. And as you've seen earlier, the 24 Plus was able to play back the timeline a little bit smoother than the 25 Plus. So, you know, there's things like that. It goes back and forth in terms of the stability of video editing on an Android device. LumaFusion is not the most optimized app, but yeah, it doesn't matter how powerful your phone is, you are still going to run into issues when it comes to video editing. So certain things that you might do on your phone, there's going to be issues regardless of the power. But both of these phones are still two good options if you are somebody who wants to video edit on your phone and, you know, post YouTube videos and make YouTube videos with your phones. I think both of these are great. The cameras are basically the same hardware, the same specs. So I'm going to roll some videos and photos and let me know what you think about the differences between these two camera systems and which ones you like better. But I think they're mostly comparable, just some slight differences in processing and stuff like that. I think the 25 Plus does have a little bit better processing in my opinion. But yeah, you can decide. Pause the video after you watch the photos and videos and comment which ones you think did better and any standouts. Yes, overall, these are both great phones, and which one you should get depends on the deals, the prices, and stuff like that. I think with the S25 Plus, the highlights are way better performance and a little bit better battery life. It's not going to be crazy difference in terms of battery life, but it is better on this phone. But everything else is really the same. It is lighter and thinner, that is nice, but it's not like a drastic difference. We're talking about like 5-6 grams of weight difference, and then, you know, some slight millimeters of thickness difference. So they're not super different, and I think because of the fact that they're very similar, this makes the S24 Plus a better deal in 2025, because it's not that different from what the latest version of this phone has to offer, and it's still really great. It still has good cameras, still has pretty good battery life, still has pretty good performance, not at the top end, but it will do well in like everyday tasks and play some games at higher graphical settings. And even if you lower it, you can still have a good experience. They both have Samsung DeX and all the Samsung features on both of them, so both are good options. It really just depends on the prices that you see them for. In Canada, where I am at, you can get a S25 Plus for around like $700 to $800 on the aftermarket if you look hard enough, maybe even cheaper depending on who it is. And 24 Plus, you can probably find it for like $500 to $700, $800 depending on, you know, your storage options and stuff like that. It really depends on your market. Like, for example, the 512 gig I'm seeing for around $1,000, which is not necessarily worth it in 2025. And then the 512 gig for the S25 Plus is going to be maybe around $1,000 as well, maybe a little bit more expensive. So if they're around the same price, buy the newer phone, because it's just better in every way. But if this is way cheaper, the 24 Plus is way cheaper, like let's say you can get it for $300 Canadian versus $1,000 for this Canadian, then this is the better cop in my opinion. Both of them are going to last a long time. The 24 Plus still has 6 years of software updates and support. This has 7 years starting this year. So, you know, they're very, very, very comparable on paper and even in performance and the real world. But it really comes down to the prices you can get them at. I think they are mostly the same phone. This is just slightly better, or a lot better when it comes to gaming performance if you play games. Yeah, that's basically it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next one, we out. Peace.